Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I'm going to call the meeting to order, the regular meeting of the Wickliffe City Council for Monday, January 8th, 2024. We're going to do a roll call. Bala? Here. Gerhardstein?
Here.
Jaworski?
Here.
Koski? Here. Levon is excused. Saloto? Here. Thielman?
Here.
And we're going to do an election of Council President Pro Tem, so if we could have a motion for that, please.
I would like to make a motion that Matt Jaworski is Council President Pro Tem.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so we had a motion by Councilperson Koski, seconded by Councilperson Thielman, that Councilperson Jaworski be elected Council President Pro Tem for the January 8th, 2024 meeting. Is there any discussion? Okay, so Bala?
Yes.
Gerhardstein?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Koski?
Yes.
Saloto? Yes. Thielman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll begin with the approval of minutes. Mr. Hardson?
I make a motion we accept the city council meeting minutes from December 18th, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Hardstein, seconded by Councilman Thielman, that the minutes of the Wickliffe City Council meeting of December 18th, 2023 be approved as presented. Discussion? None? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bala?
Yes.
Gerhardstein?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Koski?
Yes.
Saloto? Yes. Thielman?
Yes.
And we need a motion for the minutes from the organizational meeting of January 2nd.
I'd like to make a motion that we allow Councilperson Solo to abstain from voting on the council meeting minutes of January 2nd, 2024.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Hardstein, seconded by Councilman Thielman, to allow Councilwoman Saloto to abstain from voting on the minutes of the organizational meeting of January 2nd, 2024. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bala?
Yes.
Gerhardstein?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Koski?
Yes.
Saloto? Yes. Thielman?
Yes.
I make a motion we accept the city council organizational meeting minutes of January 2nd, 2024.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Hardstein, seconded by Councilman Thielman, that the minutes of the Wickliffe City organizational meeting of January 2nd, 2024 be approved as presented. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bala?
Yes.
Gerhardstein?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Koski?
Yes.
Saloto?
Abstain.
Thielman?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Councilman Jaworski. Over the past 2 years, I have been working diligently with council on many different items. This year, we hope to see all that hard work pay off and see them come to fruition. Here are some of these. A few of the bigger vacant buildings will be coming down in 2024. We will see rezoning of Euclid Avenue, which will also lead to new development in a couple areas that have long been overdue. Some of our bigger vacant buildings will be filled in 2024. A lot of empty storefronts are less in number than in the past years, and there should be approximately 70 or more new jobs created here in 2024. Parks and facility upgrades at Green Ridge Golf Course and at the Wedding Gardens gazebo at City Hall, the fountain. We still know there's a lot of work left to do and things are not perfect, but it's nice to see some of the work paying off. It really is. The building and service departments are currently working to streamline the point of sale sewer dye test process to make it simpler for buyers and sellers of homes in Wickliffe. We had a very good meeting the other day, very promising. I will keep everyone updated as we work through this process. I look forward to a great 2024 and continuing to work with you guys and administrators and our residents to make Wickliffe the best it can be. And then lastly, and sadly, yesterday I learned of the passing of one of my biggest, greatest colleagues, Mayor Dennis Morley of Eastlake. This gentleman took me under his wing the moment I was elected. Any issues or problems I had, he was quick to walk me through and give me advice. The Western Lake County mayors collaborate often, and Dennis was the first to reach out to me. He was very helpful and a good friend, and I would like to observe a moment of silence in his memory.
Mr. Mayor, is that it for your report?
Yes.
Move on to reports and communications from the law director.
Nothing to report, but I did want to echo the sentiments of Mayor Sakis here, and Mayor Morley, also a client and good friend of mine. He will be missed. Thank you.
Reports and communications from the council president. I have none at this time, and Council President Levon had left no reports or communications either. So at this stage, we will go to additions or amendments to the agenda. All right, seeing none, then we'll move on to the administrators, and we'll begin with Chief Bush.
Thank you, Councilman Jaworski. I have nothing further other than the report that was submitted to you guys.
Any questions for the chief? Okay. And then filling in for the police chief is, I can't, sorry, see your name back there.
That's okay. I'm James Isom, if anybody doesn't know. I work for the Wickliffe Fire Department. Nothing to add beyond the written report that was submitted. Thanks.
Captain.
Anyone have any questions for Captain Isom?
Captain, how is the green vision since, I mean, I don't mean to put you on the spot because Chief Grossman was talking to us at the last meeting. Where do they stand on their violations from the fire?
Right. So they're operating under a operational permit, which clearly outlines the conditions that they need to maintain at the work site. Specifically with regard to pile height, width, and depth, the space between piles, what they can accept. They can only accept fresh wood for process. They're working on processing what they have on site. That's the only way to get it to not burn. Applying water to it is not a permanent solution. Getting the product ground and packaged is the ultimate solution. So that's what they're doing under the operational permit that was issued, I believe, about 48 hours ago.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone else have any questions? Thank you, Captain. I'll move on then to the finance director.
Thank you, Councilman. I'm working on closing out 2023. I should be finished by the end of the year. I mean, sorry, end of the week, not the end of the year.
Does anyone have any questions for our finance director? Okay, seeing none, then we'll move on to the city engineer.
Thank you, Council President. One thing to add to my written report, I passed out our pavement evaluation report this evening. If you have any questions, give me a call. If you want larger size font, I'm happy to provide.
What are you trying to say?
We're getting old. But anyhow, yeah, take a look, give me a call. I'd like to call for actually some type of improvement committee meeting so that Ron and I can go over this with you with that and our recommendations for 2024. This may not be the exact recommendation we follow, but it's the base.
And we'll actually be scheduling that later on in the
Awesome. Thank you.
later on in the meeting today or tonight. Any questions for the city engineer? All right, and seeing none, we'll move on to the service director.
Thank you, Council President. I have nothing to add to my written report that's submitted.
Go ahead, Sherry.
Anything exciting going on second, third shift? Do you have third shift now or no?
We do have second and third shifts. The second shift in December, started in December, and third shift started in January 2nd.
Yeah, no, we have plenty of work that they're doing. We actually had a sewer issue today after work, and it was nice that we had some guys on second to go over, help out. We did have to keep a couple guys, but no, everything's looking good. I mean, we're not using much salt, obviously, and but we're getting lots of painting projects done, stuff like that. We're getting a lot of projects done.
Ron, thank you, Sherry. Ron, it is early in the winter at this point in time, though. Is the bin pretty well full, and how much salt are we?
I'm kind of hoping for a little bit of snow, so we can some of it out. Otherwise, I'm going to be putting it in someone's backyard and whoever wants to volunteer. We'll be able to fill the valley behind our house if it doesn't start snowing pretty soon.
Thank you. And also, any questions? All right, seeing then, we'll move on to the building commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. The only thing I have to add to my monthly report is I have my the annual building report done. If there's any questions on that, and I'd like to just reiterate what the mayor said on things going. In 22, say the fees were like $158,000. Last year was $223,000. The previous year, 22, we did about $4.5 million worth of building. That's total, all the thing. Last year in 23, we did 13.9, almost $14 million worth of building. So there's a big push, and the city's going in the right direction with, now this covers all the permits in the whole city. So we're growing, and we're going in the right direction on everything. I just want to let council know. And if there's any questions on this, feel free to call me or contact me.
Does anyone have any questions for the building commissioner?
Well, I'd like to say that I would like to, Patty answers her emails night and day, even on the weekends. I'd like to thank her for her work that she does, especially recovering the vacant building fees. And if you email Patty on a Friday, you'll get a response on a Saturday. So I appreciate what she does above and beyond what she's supposed to. And second of all, we had a discussion today about the parking lot at the ABB East lot.
That is
so everybody understands that you're taking care of that, and the outdoor storage is going to be removed. Correct.
That storage there, they didn't really contact us about that, and they are going to go inside the building in 60 days. But I told them we do not want to see that anymore. So in between the two buildings in the back, you will not see that, and they have 60 days, and they'll get it back into the warehouse, because they're waiting for one person to leave the warehouse, and then that'll be in the warehouse there. But within a couple of days, you won't see anything in that lot.
The tractor trailers also?
Everything will be gone.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, the owner called me and stated he needed time because he needed to put in the building. I said it wasn't, because of the ordinance that we can't have outside storage. So I said he had to work it out with Ray to figure out a time. He wanted to put it all by the train tracks, and I said, no, you can't. So they worked it out with Ray. He's going to get it done sooner or later. He tries to state, hey, we're trying to grow this business. I get it, but they had plenty of room over by the INA section behind. Right. So it's working itself out. But I told him I wish he would have let us know prior than to just doing it and then asking forgiveness rather than permission. So it should be handled.
I have one thing I wanted to add to Councilman's remark about Patty. She did collect from a vacant residence $18,200 in vacant fees when they wanted to transfer this, and that was years of vacant fees. So I'm very proud that she did that for us.
Wow.
She was like a dog with a bone on that. So she's good. Thank you. That's all I have.
Ray, I guess I do have a question. I'm not sure if it'd be for you or the mayor based on what Councilman Hartstein was talking about, but I thought the way that you made it sound is the stuff that's outside right now is going into permanently, or will be going permanently into the ABB warehouse. It's not. I thought I had heard it was going into a building in Menor somewhere.
No, that's not what. No, I talked to the owner today, and that's what they're going to do. Move it inside for us. When the mayor he contacted the mayor, then he contacted me, and that's when we made the arrangements for them to get that out of sight. And he says I need 60 days so it could be into the warehouse.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the building commissioner? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the recreation director.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just one comment. I want to invite everyone to our annual Winterfest. It's going to be this Saturday over at Greeners Golf Course from 1 to 4. We've got Big Coffee that's going to be over, giving some samples. Lake Metro Parks will be there. The Wickliffe Public Library will be there with the craft. And Troop 289 is going to be helping us out again this year. Lake County Captains are going to be there. The friend mascot of the captains of Skipper, Horatio, the sea bird, will be there. And they're trying to get him out and amongst the people, so he will be there. Say hello to everybody. And we've got our chili cook-off also. We're a little bit low on entries, so if there's anybody who wants to make an entry for our Winterfest, we would love to have you. So give us a holler. And that's it for my report, but there'll probably be some questions about the golf course ordinance that's on there, and I'll answer the questions at that time.
Does anyone have any questions for the Recreation Director?
A frivolous one, but when's the deadline for entry to the chili cook-off? I mean, right up until the last minute?
Last year, we had people walking in the door, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so,
No.
yeah.
Any other questions? All right, then we'll move on to audience participation. At this point in time, we'll open up audience participation, and this portion of the meeting is intended for the audience to address council and the mayor, not the directors, and anyone wishing to address council must be acknowledged. Give your name and address for the clerk's record, and you'll be given a maximum 5-minute time for comments. Would anyone like to address Wickliffe City Council? Anybody? All right, then, seeing none, we'll end audience participation, and we will move on to committee reports. I do have one committee report, and the Planning Commission, well, first off, the ARB met on Thursday, and they had approved, I can pull it out here. We had approved the plan for Eli Mailer and Tim Mitchell for their exterior at 29436 Euclid Avenue in the Town Center District for a daycare facility. Planning Commission also met then following on January 4th, and they approved a request for a parking lot plan for approval at 29436 Euclid Avenue in Town Center District for a daycare facility. Planning Commission also voted to recommend the zoning request of the Wickliffe City Schools in 4 different points. 1, request for zoning parcel B from institutional to general business. B, request from zoning parcel C to institutional to R1-60 residential district. C, request for rezoning from parcel D from institutional to R1-50 residential district. And also, the property located at 1821 Lincoln Road and 29240 Euclid Avenue, an industrial district as well. So that's all been recommended to Wickliffe City Council by a 4-1 vote. Seeing that we have no other committee reports, are there any commission reports? All right, then we'll move on to old business. Seeing that there's none. New business. We have a correction to the mayor's appointments to Keep Wickliffe Beautiful. Terms were listed incorrectly at the January 2nd, 2024 organizational meeting. The year for all Keep Wickliffe Beautiful should have been 2025, not 2026, as these are 2-year terms. So we will need to make a motion for reappointments for the following individuals. Rebecca Haller, the school rep, whose term expires 12/31/2025. Caitlin Gerbach, whose term expires the same 12/31/2025. Frank Esposito and Michelle Guba, whose terms also expire 12/31/2025. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Hartstein, seconded by Councilman Ballot to reaffirm the mayor's reappointment of Ms. Haller Ms. Gerbach, Mr. Esposito, and Ms. Guba to the Keep Wickliffe Beautiful Commission, terms to expire 12/31/2025. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Okay. And then up next would be the bid for acceptance for dredging for the pond.
Yes, on December 29th, we opened bids for the pond dredging project and the alternate A project, which was the Gulf Green installation for number 2. We received 6 bids. The low bidder for this project was Holcomb Enterprises from Port Clinton, Ohio. I personally have never worked with them, neither has CT. However, I did call 3 of their references, and every one of them were glowing. They had nothing but good things to say about this contractor. They do a lot of various types of work, but they do specialize in doing dredging and water shoreline type work. So they're very qualified to do the work, in my opinion. And we would recommend the award of this contract to Holcomb Enterprises. Talking before the meeting with the councilman, apparently this item is still in committee though. So I don't know if that needs to be discussed in committee. The one thing I was discussing with the golf course superintendent, Mr. Kalick, this morning, and he mentioned something about not really being sure that he wanted to do this alternate A part of the green thing. So I said, well, gee, we ought to have to talk about that in some type of committee meeting to determine whether or not it's council wants to do that or not. So kind of leaving that up in the air. We can award the base bid possibly.
This is still in the finance committee, the dredging for the, my agenda doesn't even have the dredging on it, right?
No, that was my addition, I'm sorry, Matt.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I was looking at my cheat sheet here and not this over here. My apologies. Mr. Remeke, I guess since this is still in committee, then it's going to have to be referred, or it's going to have to stay in committee, and when the council president's ready to talk about this, you said it's the finance committee?
Yes, sir.
How long do we have to?
I believe we have 60 days to notify the contractor of the award. It could be wrong, it could be 30 days. Either way, though, we've got until the end of the month.
Okay, so worst case scenario, if we have a meeting, if Council President Levine wants, I think the next meeting would be available the 29th, and we'd have to.
To the marathon tonight.
Nice.
We can do that.
Over here.
Marathon.
We'll just add that, if you're okay with that.
That's fine.
All right. We'll just add that to the meeting then on the 15th.
On the 15th, okay.
Yes. That way we can get that voted upon by the 22nd.
Thank you.
I don't think it would take at least that long for discussion.
Spring pizza.
No.
The alternate bid, I know we'll discuss that in the committee, but many people have met at Green Ridge Golf Course as far as an issue with the balls, and the golf course manager doesn't see it as, he's not getting the calls like we get the calls for golf balls, and that was one of the biggest problem solvers, was to switch the green and the tee. So I just wanted to reiterate, I get it, he is the manager here, but we are the ones that deal with the calls and the issues, so I just want to state that.
I think it's a plus-plus situation in that case where we're aiming away from the houses. Then the nuts, are not going to become a factor.
Agreed.
So it's going to save us money there too.
All All right, that brings us then to ordinances.
Ordinance number 2024-01, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Hartstein, seconded by Councilman Saloto, that the rules of the Wickliffe City Council be suspended and ordinance number 2024-01 be placed on third and final reading. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballot.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Seelman.
Yes. Adoption. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Thielman, seconded by Councilman Bala, that ordinance 2401 be adopted as presented. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballot.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Seelman.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2024-02, an ordinance providing for the compensation of certain appointed officials of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and repealing any and all other ordinances or parts thereof that may be inconsistent with this ordinance and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Thielman, seconded by Councilperson Kosky, that the rules of Wickliffe City Council be suspended and ordinance number 2024-02 be placed on third and final reading. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballot.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Seelman.
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Hartstein, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto, that ordinance number 2024-02 be adopted as presented. I do have one question about this ordinance, and it's in, I don't want to quite say italics, but in smaller size. It talks about special representation be required upon the normal scope of duties. Would the normal scope of duties, just so we're on the same page, include filling in for you at council meetings or any other meetings as needed?
Yeah, generally what that language is used for is if we had any type of civil litigation or anything like that that would involve myself and the prosecutor to work on, and we would be coming to you beforehand to let you know that was something. And generally all of our civil litigation goes through insurance, so shouldn't be an issue, but yes, coming to any planning commissions, council meetings, anything like that is still under his normal scope.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballot.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Seelman.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2024-03, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to enter into a contract with Verdant Commercial Capital LLC for the lease of golf carts at Green Ridge Golf Course in the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Saloto, seconded by Councilwoman Kosky, that the rules of Wickliffe Council be suspended and ordinance number 2024-03 be placed on third and final reading. Discussion? Councilman?
I was wondering why leasing golf carts, there's leasing golf carts from the golf courses in January is an emergency that has to be done by an emergency measure. And my other question would be, because it's over $50,000, is the city required to get bids by at least two different, we're required to get bids after 50,000, right, quotes?
Over 50,000. I believe it changed January 1st to 75,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I believe it changed January 1st to $75,000, not per state law, but per our ordinances, anything over 25 has to be approved by council. But that law did change.
50% of 70.
Oh, so it's 50% of 75,000, that's correct. So it'd be 30,
So it doesn't need to have a quote, a bid?
not as of January 1st of this year.
No, and it just does require a vote of council for that amount.
Okay. Well, my question would be, then why is it, for the sake of an emergency measure about golf course leases, golf carts in January?
Well, he wants to get a jump on the fleet and just doesn't want to miss out. And so if there's a chance, if we don't get it in a certain amount of time, then we gotta, so he's getting it for the price. And so some things I get might but not be like whole wide city important, but that's important to the golf course.
Well,
You know
I
what I mean?
understand that, Mayor, but you could have brought this up in December for a first reading. I'm just asking why it has to be passed on an emergency measure in
So
January.
this all happened a couple weeks ago, correct, Tim? It wasn't December.
The sooner the better for this.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
that-
why didn't it come up in December? because this all.
Your contract says December 21st, so obviously we talked about in December. So my question was simple, that I don't understand the abbreviation of emergency measure. Golf cart leases don't fall under what I would consider an emergency of the city by.
I get it, and I feel he does this to get a price on certain things and get a jump on things, so I understand, but if we lose out, then he has to go to, because that was my understanding on why it's emergency. So.
Go ahead, Jim.
Tim, is this the same company we used?
It's the same company we've been using, and they're moving to a leasing agency, so that's why this is different.
That's fine. I know we had a problem last year where they wouldn't pick up one of the carts for months and months and months.
For yes. Yeah.
Hopefully that can be resolved.
Hopefully it can be resolved and not have any issue like that, correct?
Okay.
Tim, when was the last time that the city went out, or the golf course went out, however you want to say it, and got quotes or got an RFP for other vendors for golf carts?
There's like only 2 players in town for golf cart rentals, and we have not gone out for another bid for that. We have not done that. We've been with the same company for quite some time. They've held the pricing for us. I think they service, if I'm not mistaken, I think they service Pine Ridge Country Club. I think they service Cleveland Metro Parks.
I know they did. I haven't been there in a couple of years. So.
I think Little
But they
Mountain Golf Course also. I know that they have more volume than us, so we're kind of the last one to get to at times. But yeah, there's only 2 real players in the golf cart market.
So this emergency measure is really just because you want to make sure you're available for the pricing that has come up.
Correct.
So that makes sense to me.
Tim, the last question that I have then is, this is only for 20 golf carts, correct?
Correct.
Why wouldn't we be, when we have outings, I've been told that it's not enough golf carts for a number of outings. To me, that's, if we have the ability to get more and make more money off golf carts, wouldn't we want to be doing that?
We, number one, don't have the storage to go ahead and charge all the carts. Right now, it's a very tight fit to get into our garage, so there's a space question there. I can't say that every weekend we run out of carts. There are the occasional time that we will run out of carts for outings, but it's not a weekly occurrence. And to rent more carts is obviously more costly. If you've got 25 carts and you're only renting 10, you've got 15 too many. So yeah, there are times when we need some more. Yes, definitely. But does the cost in another 5, 10 carts, justify? Does the cost justify having that for those half dozen times where we run out of golf carts?
The biggest one is our Wickliffe
Yeah.
outing, but that's going to be handled this year. We have plenty of time to prepare. I know we were short like 2 carts, and I told Tim, whether we got to rent some from Pine Ridge for that day, but really it's the Wickliffe golf outing, and is the biggest one that I want to make sure, because we want to grow that outing and make it bigger and bigger. And right now we might have to cut it off because we want to make sure everybody gets a cart.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bell.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
No.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kosky.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes. Adoption.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Thielman, seconded by Councilman Ballard, that ordinance number 2024-03 be adopted as presented. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bell.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
No.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kosky.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Resolutions, seeing there's none. Any other legislation? Okay, miscellaneous. I'd like to call for a improvement committee meeting on, let's see, this would be the 29th, correct, Sandy? To discuss the 2023 citywide pavement conditioning rating and recommendations.
I just have a question.
Yes.
Now that the planning commission has reported that zoning change out of the planning commission, what happens next? Does that go to the Euclid Avenue Committee, or?
On the school zoning or the?
Yeah, the school zoning.
School zoning. They actually still have to have a public hearing.
Okay.
Which they will do at the next meeting, which we're getting ready to send out the notices now. And then officially the recommendation will be voted on and sent out to council after that. And then council would have a public hearing.
Council.
and all that, yep.
Okay, great, thank you.
And I guess just for all of council, there's a little bit more work from the legal standpoint that has to be done prior to Planning Commission Chairman McGraw officially writing the letter and sending us the actual recommendation. I believe him and the law director just tightening up a couple things.
Yep, I got those mostly tightened up and back to Pat, so we should be good pretty soon.
So we'll be, as soon as we get those, the actual physical recommendation, we would be able to, or at least the Euclid Avenue Committee should be able to meet on that and start moving that forward as well. Any other miscellaneous? All right, then we'll make we have a motion to adjourn? Executive session, I'm sorry. Didn't see it on here. We have a motion to adjourn into executive session.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Koski and seconded by Councilwoman Sloto to adjourn the meeting to executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22 G3 for the purpose of pending or imminent court action following a 5-minute break. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bell.
Yes.
Gerhardsen.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Stillman.
Yes.
And I promise I'll be quick.